Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're strapping into the driver's seat of, well, a massive digital acceleration.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
And we're not talking about marginal improvements or, shiny new websites. We're going deep into the core engine room of the enterprise.
Finance, supply chain, HR, the real nuts and bolts.
Exactly. And we're examining this singular, powerful force that's driving this fundamental change: artificial intelligence.
That's absolutely right. And AI it's rapidly moving from being a strategic PowerPoint slide to driving core functionality. I mean, it is fundamentally reshaping these crucial systems.
Things like ERP and FP&A.
Enterprise resource planning, financial planning, and analysis, yes. And this whole process got a massive, if unwanted, turbocharge when the COVID-19 pandemic It exposed how vulnerable traditional supply chains were.
Right. It forced a lot of hands.
It forced global businesses to invest billions into true resilience.
Our mission today is pretty clear. We really need to unpack the financial logic driving this huge investment. We want to identify the single biggest roadblock. And for you listening, it's probably not what you think. And reveal how human jobs are transforming
From tedious manual processors
into high-level strategic decision shapers and, importantly, ethical stewards of this new technology.
And you have to understand the scale of the money involved here to really grasp the seriousness of this. It's staggering.
Give us the numbers.
So the global ERP software market alone reached nearly $136 billion in 2024.
Wow.
And that's projected to surge to almost $180 billion by 2029. That investment is overwhelmingly aimed at modernization and specifically AI integration.
That is enormous capital flow. So the essential question for any CFO listening is, why spend this much? Is it just hype, a fear of being left behind, or are they seeing genuine, quantifiable returns right now?
It's driven by the numbers. It really is. While there's certainly some excitement, some hype, the primary motivator is hard financial justification and strategic resilience.
Okay, so they can actually measure the impact.
Oh, definitely. We have documented evidence showing that organizations that successfully integrate AI are seeing operational efficiencies jump by over 40%.
40%.
And process redundancies drop by about 35%. I mean, those kinds of savings fundamentally change your entire operating model.
And a huge chunk of this urgency, as you mentioned, comes directly from that supply chain chaos we all lived through post-2020.
Exactly. The shift was monumental because the vulnerability was just so stark. We saw surveys where nearly 2/3 of supply chain executives said the pandemic forced them to accelerate their digital transformation plans immediately.
So it was a real wake-up call.
It was. U.S. enterprises realized they just couldn't survive with these brittle linear chains. They needed highly integrated, resilient networks that could sense and react instantly.
Okay, so help us understand how AI creates that resilience. Because it's different from just making things faster, right?
It's a whole different ballgame.
Yeah.
Resilience is about prediction and autonomous action. We're moving from systems that report problems,
After the fact.
after the fact, yes, to systems that prevent them. Think about highly temperature-critical goods vaccines, specialized chemicals, frozen foods.
You can't afford to lose.
Precisely. IoT sensors are giving us real-time condition and location data. But AI-powered systems are interpreting that data instantly, looking for tiny deviations, for patterns that signal an impending failure.
So AI shifts the human role from being the alarm bell ringer to being the ultimate action planner.
That's the perfect way to put it. Let's use the Johnson & Johnson example from our sources. It's a great one.
Okay.
If data coming from the cloud signals that 2 of their primary raw material vendors are experiencing supply chain interruptions.
Right, which happens all the time.
The AI system doesn't just ping a manager. It instantly selects and places new material orders with the best alternative vendors who have capacity.
All on its own.
All based on real-time disruption data and pre-programmed parameters. The decision-making loop is almost autonomous, making the chain far more flexible than any human team could manage alone.
But that speed, that autonomous action, it relies entirely on perfect, high-quality data. And that brings us to the biggest challenge most big companies face:
The mountain of old technology.
the legacy systems.
It's the great irony of digital transformation, isn't it? The biggest, most ambitious plans often just crash into this wall of legacy systems and poor data quality.
So what are the stats on that?
Gartner has a pretty sobering prediction for you. By 2027, only 30% of companies will have sufficient data quality to truly take advantage of advanced AI.
Only 30%. So 70% of companies will have spent the money on this powerful new engine, but won't have the clean fuel to run it.
It's actually worse than that. They are actively wasting money just maintaining the old structure.
How much?
Organizations are spending, on average, over $4 million a year just keeping those old legacy systems running.
Wow. Just to keep the lights on.
Just to keep the lights on. And meanwhile, most organizations, about 84% of them, are struggling with data silos. They're maintaining an average of 6 or 7 disparate data storage systems.
So nothing talks to anything else.
And that lack of connectivity alone contributes to a huge decrease in operational efficiency. It's a mess.
And I imagine the infrastructure itself just wasn't built for a world where every decision is made in the cloud in real time.
No, it wasn't. We see staggering infrastructure gaps. The sources show that over 92% of legacy systems lack the modern API capabilities that AI needs to communicate.
So you can't just plug the AI in.
You can't. You're forced to build these expensive custom software bridges just to connect the old systems to the new AI platforms.
Which means the solution isn't to rush the AI rollout. It's actually to clean the data foundation first.
It's foundational hygiene. It's everything. Organizations that prioritize data architecture modernization before they roll out AI report massive success.
How so?
They see a reduction of over 40% in post-implementation issues and about a 30% decrease in system downtime. You simply have to ensure the data is reliable before you ask an AI to base billion-dollar decisions on it.
And this necessity for clean data is fundamentally changing the whole ERP strategy. We're moving away from those massive one-size-fits-all systems.
We are. By 2027, well over 80% of organizations will be changing their ERP strategies to embrace what we call modular composable architectures.
Okay, break that down for us. What does composable mean for a CFO? Is it just linking together the best specialized tools instead of one giant rigid system?
That's a perfect way to put it. Instead of one monolithic, heavily customized system that handles everything, finance, HR, manufacturing a composable architecture lets you swap in specialized, modern, best-of-breed software for each function.
Like a plug-and-play approach.
Exactly. A specific FP&A tool here, a specialized supply chain manager there. These modern tools are naturally built for the cloud and for AI, making the whole system flexible, easier to update, and crucially, they require far fewer of those customizations that break every single time you try to upgrade.
So we've established the enormous effort needed to clean that foundation. Once the architecture is stable and the data is clean, where are companies seeing the fastest returns? Let's pivot to finance, specifically FP&A.
Right. FP&A is seeing rapid transformation because the benefits are so immediate and so quantifiable. AI really plays 3 distinct roles here.
What's the first one?
The first is the most immediate gain, productivity enhancement. AI automates the grunt work. Data integration, cleaning, generating reports, writing narrative commentary.
The stuff nobody wants to do.
The stuff that takes up 80% of their time. And critically, it can pre-populate or seed 70 to 80% of budget values based on historical trends.
That immediately frees up analysts from months of spreadsheet duty. So what's the second role?
The second is insight generation. This is where it gets interesting. AI unlocks contextual analysis that human teams just can't keep up with.
For example?
And AI can flag unexplained cost variances across different departments weeks earlier than a human analyst might catch it.
Weeks is a lifetime in finance.
It is. Or you have virtual finance assistants that can answer complex queries like, what were our Q2 margins in APAC? Instantly, pulling context from millions of data points.
And the third role moves into true strategic guidance, I'm guessing.
Exactly. Decision support and simulation. This is smarter forecasting, multivariable scenario planning. Now, what's fascinating here is a bitter paradox.
Yeah.
Traditional machine learning usage for forecasting actually dropped from 11% in 2021 to 6% in 2024.
It went down. Why?
Because those models were just too technically difficult to implement. They required too much specialized data science expertise that most finance teams just don't have.
So ML stalled because the barrier to entry was too high. Why the sudden reversal then? I assume something changed.
Generative AI, Gen AI showed up and it completely changed the game.
How so? Is it just the natural language interface that Broke that technical barrier.
That's the key. Gen AI accelerated overall AI adoption in FP&A to a projected 47% by 2025. It's just easier to use. Analysts can interrogate the data and ask complex questions using plain English. It makes sophisticated analysis accessible.
We have some great real-world examples of this maturity shift, moving from just reporting to true strategic analysis.
We do. Walgreens, for instance. They transformed their operations by moving their entire data infrastructure to the cloud, to Microsoft Azure Synapse Analytics in just 3 months.
That's incredibly fast.
It is. And this supported much better inventory management and decision-making during very volatile periods. And then at a much higher level, you have a company like Caterpillar.
Right.
They achieved what's called Level 4 AI maturity by implementing self-learning models that adjust in real time. This effectively moved them from static quarterly planning to continuous dynamic planning.
So the crucial takeaway here isn't that AI replaces people. It seems to be that it elevates their roles.
100%. As AI absorbs the mechanical work, the human job shifts entirely to strategic oversight and, critically, to ethical stewardship.
The required skill set for finance teams must be changing them.
Dramatically. Researchers describe a new framework of 5 necessary roles in the AI era. You still have the analyst, but now you also need an architect.
Who bridges finance and IT?
Yes, and owns data integration. Then you need a data scientist who applies ML to find trends. And then the 2 most important roles, the storyteller and the influencer.
To translate the data into action.
The value is entirely on translation, strategy, and getting human buy-in.
But when you rely on AI for financial decisions, trust is everything. Finance demands deterministic accuracy, the right answer. But AI is inherently probabilistic. It gives you the most likely answer.
That's the core tension.
So if an AI gives you a number that is 99.9% accurate, how do you verify it? How do you trust it?
That gap is exactly why governance is so critical. AI adoption hinges entirely on trust. So organizations are focusing on 3 core trust factors. First, accountability.
Who's in charge?
Who owns the decision? This must be a senior-level executive mandate.
Mm-hmm.
Second is transparency, which is all about assessing the quality and history of the data sources. They're establishing what are called provenance standards.
Can you define provenance for us?
Sure. Provenance here means we track the data's entire life cycle, where it was born, who modified it, how it was compiled, so the decision maker can absolutely trust the source input before the AI even touches it.
And the third factor, I imagine, addresses the black box problem.
Exactly. Explainability.
Yeah.
This is the ability to understand and verify the data lineage and the logic behind a recommendation or a forecast.
So you have to be able to ask why.
You have to. If the AI suggests reallocating millions in capital, the human must be able to verify why that specific conclusion was reached, not just blindly accept the answer.
But if the system is designed for autonomy, how do we prevent what they call automation bias, where the human just accepts the machine's recommendation without genuine critical thought?
That is the governance challenge of the future. The systems are heading toward what's called Level 5 maturity, or autonomous finance. We're seeing concepts like agentic AI.
Intelligent agents.
Right. Intelligent agents that automate complex workflows toward a defined goal with increasing independence. For instance, the 150 agents supporting 80,000 professionals at EY, they don't just process tax records, they autonomously sequence and execute complex tasks.
They decide the best way to do the work.
They do, based on real-time feedback. And that level of independence requires rigorous human oversight, not just a simple sign-off.
And this transformation isn't just on the balance sheet itself, it's also about optimizing the human capital that creates that balance sheet.
Precisely. AI is providing precision and fairness in high-volume, people-centric operations like HR and capital optimization in dynamic logistics.
Let's start with HR. For a company focused on the financial mission, reducing attrition through AI isn't just a soft metric, it's a direct saving of millions. What are the key AI use cases there?
For 2025, the trends show 80% of organizations will automate at least one HR process, and that cuts the average hiring time by about 60%.
That's huge.
It is. Beyond automated resume shortlisting, you have high-volume hiring environments using voice bot screening. These bots analyze a candidate's tone, their fluency, their clarity.
To evaluate for cultural fit, AI is judging tone for cultural fit. That fundamentally changes how candidates have to make a first impression, doesn't it?
It standardizes it, for better or worse. It also includes predictive attrition modeling based on employee sentiment analysis from conversations and surveys. But crucially, responsible AI is a huge focus here.
How so?
It's about promoting fairness by using consistent evaluation criteria across all candidates, with the goal of eliminating human bias in hiring and screening.
And how does this increased speed and intelligence translate to global logistics, where dynamic planning is so essential?
It's about leveraging that composable architecture we discussed earlier. Take the GN group, they make headsets, they implemented Microsoft Dynamics 365.
Okay.
When they get a large order, the system can instantly determine if they have all components available, and it generates accurate pricing and timing estimates on the spot. That's integrated visibility, optimizing your capital.
And precision communication must be vital when you're dealing with complex international supply chains.
Absolutely. We have a great example of this. Imagine a delivery executive in Europe who is unsure of an address. They ask their chatbot in their native language, let's say it's French, through a mobile app.
Right.
The AI system instantly provides a live translation to an English-speaking agent in a call center somewhere. That agent answers in English, and the system translates the answer back to French in real time for the driver.
Seamless.
It ensures high-stakes deliveries reach their destination hassle-free. It's operational fluidity at its best.
This whole deep dive has really shown that digital transformation is less about technology adoption and much, much more about a complete shift in organizational mindset.
I think that's right.
We've seen AI move from just automating simple reporting to generating autonomous strategic recommendations across finance, logistics, and human capital.
And ultimately, the value of FP&A and these other strategic roles will not be defined by the tools they use. It will be defined by the decisions they lead and the human judgment they apply. The systems provide the insight. The people have to own the action and the accountability.
That leaves us with a provocative thought for you to explore. If sophisticated AI agents can automatically adapt forecasts, manage supply chain disruptions, and flag biases in hiring, how do we ensure that the human touch remains the final responsible guardian of our most critical enterprise decisions? How do we best train our own judgment to challenge an answer provided by an AI that achieves 99.9% accuracy when we know that that last 0.1% can be catastrophic?